Day 24, misfire, cylinder 1, cylinder 4, and multiple cylinder misfire. So the reason why I'm making this video is when I got the car from the shop that did the piston and chain and tensioner replacement, car worked fine, but the steering was heavy. And then I traced down the servotronic wires here. They go into the pins in this connector. So we are under the engine bay on the driver's side, firewall. I removed the ECU, or engine control module, ECM, engine control unit, whatever you want to call it. I routed 2 new wires instead of these because these were giving me very erroneous numbers. Every time I go into the connector that is there, I read the signals. It sometimes gives me 3 volts, sometimes, well, anyway, it was very annoying. So I spliced new wires. These are the new wires, and I routed them into the connector that plugs right into the that's where they came in. This one goes into the electronic is it electric module or something that goes above the leg, the footrest on the driver's side. Anyway, they're routed correctly. Servotronic is working. But then I opened it because I was checking the voltage on the old wires, and I still registered 12 volts on the green and brown here. Or actually, I was registering 3 volts. I left it there. This is the same wire that you see here, routed into there, going into the wiring harness, blah blah blah, then comes into there. I measured the voltage across there. It was showing me 3 volts. Still, even though it's not connected to anything, it was plugged in here into the pins here. I believe it's pin number 6 and pin number 14. I removed the I cleaned this up because this was wet. It was actually literally, it was dripping water. I don't know if you can see some. There's probably a little left, but I dried most of it. I just got a blower, a vacuum that works in 2 directions, and I got the blower side of it, and I just dried the connectors. You can probably see a little more here. Anyway, so I dried everything. I don't know where the humidity came from, but you can see some of it here too. Plugged it back in. This was still connected. Went there, measured the voltage. It was showing me 12 volts. I don't know what to say to that. Took it out again, removed the pins, traced the wires. This is my tape, because I removed the wires all the way into there, and then I removed the pins, and magically it started registering 0 again. Could it be lapped into here somehow? That this gets a 12 volt supply and it wasn't getting enough? I have no idea. I don't have very good expertise in electronics. But it's just a theory. Anyway, misfire, cylinder 1, cylinder 4, multiple cylinder misfire. Diagnostics is still underway. I'm gonna clean this up again, put it back. This time these are completely disconnected, but I don't think I solved the problem. I think the problem is still there. Because I traced the wires all the way into here, and there was no chafing, whatever. And then I looked here. Let's get this out. I looked into that conduit, and that is the wiring that's shiny, or the tape that's shiny, that's me. I traced the wires all the way to there and all the way to there, and it was clean. There was nothing. I even pulled this out and then traced some more here. There was nothing to be seen. As soon as I unclipped this from the connector, it started giving me 0 volts again with the ignition on. Anyway, I'd appreciate any input into this. So again, question is, servotronic wires were plugged into here. This was plugged into there, going into the electronic module, whatever it is. And then it gets power, routes it into the servotronic connector. I spliced in new wires. These wires became basically just furniture. And then when I put the connector onto here, when I measure the voltage, I get 3 volts, even though they're not connected to anything. One of them gives a 0 voltage, one of them gives a 3 volt. When I completely disconnected them, removed the pins from the connector, I register now 0 volts on both of them. Does that mean that there is any problem into the wiring? I have no idea. The shop did remove the wiring. I saw them. When they were putting the engine back into the car, the wiring was just on the floor. So that's why I'm doubting that there might be a problem here. The only codes that I'm getting are cylinder 1, cylinder 4, and multiple cylinder misfire. Thank you for any input you might put into this. If you have any electronics experience, I'd really appreciate if someone can shed some light into this. Thank you.